All right, guys, here's the highlight of Understanding Trading by Design. This was part 2. Begin at the end. Content versus concept. This is just a short 5 or 7 minute video. Let me start with a story of what sold me Understanding by Design. So to take my education and put it into this design and layout. There was an 8th grade teacher and he was asked, what's your goal teaching the U.S. Constitution? And he said, well, for the kids to learn the 3 branches of government. And the other guy said, that's not the goal, that's the content. This is why a lot of people who have goals have improper goals. They're not the goals, they're the content. So he said, you know what a better goal is? He tells the teacher, how about taking the 3 branches of government and how they've created a balance of power that has created legislation and controversy and debate for 240 years through today. Now that's the concept, that's the goal. And all of a sudden you light up these teenagers in understanding that it's applied. These old guys with wigs actually wrote something that applies today, wrote something that my uncle and dad were arguing about at Christmas. That is where you need to be. Take the goal and put it at the beginning, but it has to be the right goal with the concept. So we go into this content versus concept. How does this relate to trading? All right, here's some comparisons of how price moves versus why price moves. Most people come into this business with the how. How do I trade? How do I get in? How do I get out? And therefore, they're asked the wrong questions. Here's an example of the wrong question. How do I use this, Anthony, for a breakout trade? Therefore, you're going to get answers that are wrong. Like the answer could be, here's an example. When you see this or you see that, and it starts to become a lot of hindsight stuff, a lot of pattern recognition that's easy to recognize after the pattern developed. The better question is, why would price break out in the first place? Not how do I use it for a breakout trade? Why would price break out in the first place? Now the answer becomes, where are other people's stops? Where can you read other people's positions and find that emotion? Better questions. I've said this for a while now. Stop looking for the right answer. Start looking for the right question. Here's another example. How come this support level didn't work out? So the answers you'll typically get is, listen, it doesn't work all the time. Works 70% of the time, so this must be this 30% it didn't work. People using data to predict price movement. It's other people's positions, getting in, getting out, that makes prices move. So the better question is, why does support work when it actually works? And it leads me to the infamous baby bird story. Many people have heard this story, and they always like to hear it again. People who haven't, you'll like it. Why does support work when it works? That's the better question. Let me tell you the baby bird story. Baby bird story has baby birds in the nest. They represent helpless traders or trapped shorts, let's say. And what are you when you're a short and you're trapped? You're a buyer to get out, and you're a desperate buyer. Just like baby birds are helpless. Mommy bird is price in this story. She's got the food to keep the baby birds alive, and she's coming down to bring it to her, or bring it to them. But all of a sudden, a hawk enters the equation. Traders who know why price does what it does are what hawks are. So they come down, or he comes down, pulls mommy bird away, rips her head off, never to give the worm to the baby birds. In other words, price never got to the trapped shorts who are desperately trying to buy it. That's what makes support support. A support line is a support line because you have a bunch of desperate buyers, generally trapped shorts, and price is almost ready to give them their fill. They're out, and then something happens and price runs away. What happens is the fact that people are, when they say, well, they front run the market. They did front run the market. They picked better locations to find a qualification for that area not to give people their opportunity to get out. And what ends up happening is, one is you get people that front run that level because they understand this concept. But secondly, they use the people that are trapped to reach, jump, and buy it, which was what make price go up. They didn't get filled at their support, but they're still anxious. They still have to get out, and they reach, and they jump. And so why is the car there? Because I've always been asked, well, what happens to the baby birds once they don't get fed? They fall out of the tree and get run over by a car. In other words, if you do this enough and you're constantly desperate and trapped short, eventually you blow your account out. So what I want people to do is stop going down rabbit holes, but everybody goes down them, and don't blame yourself. Everyone goes down them at some point in their career, especially in the beginning. And so you got other trading education, and you got this Edge Trading Group education that I've developed for over 20 years, as being in this business for 25 years. So again, a lot of other education is indicator based. Here's a system. Here's the setup. Here's patterns. In other words, just memorize this and you'll make money, or learn how. And so this is why many people have the how questions, because they're only taught and told this is how to do it. At ETG, what we do is lay the foundational why concepts in your brain, so that you stop asking how, because now you understand why. That doesn't mean you won't have questions, but you'll have the right questions. For example, a wrong question is, how do I avoid entering late and chasing price? And the wrong answer is, well, you got to be more aggressive. You got to play it 2 or 3 ticks above your support. The right question is, why is this the right or wrong location? And the right answer is, the right location should always be based on other people's positions. So how do you avoid entering late? By understanding why and where you should have entered in the first place. Other people's positions. Stops that are being run. People trying to open up positions. Exit losing positions and such. Going down rabbit holes isn't your fault. It's what generally everybody is going to do. But it is your fault if you continue to do it. Understand why. And what was really important, summarizing the second part of our webinar series, was the bridge between, here's the right content that addresses why prices move. Now here's the bridge to understand, absorb it, so you could take that skill and actually execute.